another good friend, and everybody knows him very well. What do we call it? How do we describe him?
Wonderful.
The wonderful Ched Jennings.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Good. Listen, I want to talk to you about workers' comp, and I think all of you know this, but workers' comp is one of the battlefields of the labor movement. It affects your injured workers, your members. So it's been very, very important for the years, and it will always continue to be very important. And something that I discovered several years ago when I was commissioner is that the labor unions have the ability through their members to communicate with injured workers. Let them know what their rights are, let them know what they should do. And there are several key rights in Kentucky for injured workers. And I will say the number, we put a little pamphlet in each of the ditty bags that lists several of the main things, but the most primary one in Kentucky, you get to pick your doctors for treatment. You don't have to treat with the company doctors. They may have the right to examine you. So if I see there's an assault on that, there's going to be a problem in Frankfurt where they're going to attack the rights of injured workers, especially trying to take away that right. That's what I'm going to get a hold of Dustin and everybody and say, stand up and fight back. This is a provision that's been there for a long time, and it's what makes us stable. Hope I never see it. Hope you all never see it, but that's there. But I'm going to talk to you about what some of the good things have been happening with workers' comp over the last few years. But we had the COVID. We all had COVID. We all had the problem. We had problems conducting meetings. The state government and a lot of the departments shifted over to Zoom, doing Zoom meetings, Zoom hearings, and that's what we did with workers' comp. And as you know, COVID lasts for a few years, and we're still doing the Zoom. And I will tell you this, we found out after a while that it's actually a better system than we were doing in-person hearings. Now you'll hear that in-person versus Zoom, that the Zoom is making the judges more efficient, letting them be able to conduct more business. Have hearings. Today I can get a hearing in any case I've got probably set within 2 weeks. Couldn't do that with in-person. You'd have to wait till that judge might be set back for a hearing in Louisville. We have to do a lot of traveling with the injured workers to make sure that they get their schedule, try to move things along. Because remember, the big part of Kentucky workers' comp is that it's the early delivery of benefits, medical and disability benefits, and the speedy adjudication, resolution of the legal issues that are presented. They're not supposed to be in the system for a long time. They're supposed to be in the system to get their benefits that the law says they're entitled to. So I'm going to tell you this, going to Zoom has been the best thing that's happened for injured workers. I'm going to tell you that. Now, how do I know that? Well, I've been doing this about 50 years, so I will tell you this. I've seen it, and this is good. Because this is what the injured workers are able to do. They're able to do their hearings, their depositions from their home. They can be on their iPhones. They have to be able to access the Zoom. They don't have to travel. They don't have to have their spouse take them. They don't have to go to drive 3 hours. If you happen to be in Paducah to be able to catch the judge when they're having a hearing in Louisville. These are significant reasons why it's best for the injured workers, and it helps get the cases over sooner. Helps get the money that they're entitled by law to receive to get that sooner to them. So it's very, very important when you hear about this issue, labor again, stand up, fight back, and understand this is best for the injured workers, and I hope you'll continue to support that. I know we have for a while. See Bill Lundergan here. Justin, everybody who's tried, this has turned out to be really, really good. The next thing that's been happening is a mediation program. A few years ago, Secretary Larry Roberts, who was a mediator in the 70s for the Commonwealth of Kentucky, he basically said, hey, there's a statute that says there's supposed to be a mediation program. Where's the mediation program? We didn't have one. So he encouraged and challenged for that reg to be developed, that there are mediations now. And I'm really pleased to tell you this is another great thing that's happened for injured workers. And how do I know that? Well, again, I've been around this for 50 years, and it really has made a difference in getting these cases over soon, getting the injured workers their money soon, getting them back to work soon. And I know this is tough to understand. Mediation, it only takes about an hour and a half. I mean, this doesn't take much of our time. And I will tell you the most important part about Zoom, it permits the adjusters to be there. The adjusters are not all here in Kentucky. But we have a setting where you have the adjusters and the claimants and the lawyers and the mediator. The mediator, the chief judge, Doug Godkin here in Bowling Green, has been super with this. And when I tell you this, these are his statistics. The other judges, the whole department has about an 80% success rate in terms of resolving the cases with this mediation. 95% Judge Gott's rate. And what's this do again? It gets the case settled instead of having to have a hearing. And then goes another 60 days for briefs to be filed. And the further delays if there's appeals. Nice thing about mediation, nobody appeals it. They're done. They get the injured workers, in most cases, overwhelming majority of them, they get them a lump sum. See, the administrative law judges can only give you weekly benefits. But with mediation, the parties try and they do settle for lump sums. This has again been fantastic, and I hope that you all will continue to support the mediation concept for the workers' compensation claims. It's been good, it's been helpful. Bill, I know you know that. Dustin, I know you know that. But the statistics overwhelmingly support this mediation program. So what else has been happening? I watched the other day, I couldn't attend that today in Frankfurt. Philip Wheeler, when he had that committee meeting. I've been around this for many years, and one of the things that I thought was so neat about that, during the interim, they have these meetings so that they're putting before the legislature, the issues. Those issues were put before the legislature. Now you'll see bills be introduced. I'm looking back at Ellen, but you'll see bills introduced that will go after the changes that might be needed and what they're recommending and what they're dealing with. And I think that hearing that day, I watched that. I was so proud to see that, but you owe that hearing to Senator Philip Wheeler, because they have to decide when to have hearings and what subjects to put on them. And I think that's significant. Now, Philip Wheeler last year, I would like to tell you a little bit about him. He's like me. He practices workers' comp cases down in Pike County. That's his business. He knows workers' comp. He's the only senator that knows workers' compensation. Last year, only one bill passed. It was a technical bill, but one bill passed that he shepherded through, and that was to change the way the nomination process is for administrative law judges and board members. And how significant was it? Well, it used to be the governor would make the appointment and then the Senate would confirm. So all of a sudden, good people were not filing applications because they were concerned that they may not get Senate confirmation. So what he did was he moved the time of service to begin 30 days after Senate confirmation. So that means somebody doesn't have to give up their practice to possibly become an administrative law judge, to find out they may not be concerned by the Senate for whatever politics there might be and however they might be. So continue to please work with him. He knows workers' comp. He knows what affects the injured workers. He knows his practice. And now, he and I may not agree on everything, and he'll be the first to tell you that, but I will try to work with him, and I will let you all know that I think this is significant to finally have, again, somebody who's chairman of that committee who knows a little something about workers' compensation. Frankfurt is work, and that's where it all counts. Next thing I want to tell you about, it's on the horizon that has to be dealt with, is funding. The funding of the Department of Workers' Claims right now is by a tax that's on. It's a funding commission. It's not general tax dollars, folks. This isn't part of the budget. Workers' compensation is funded by a tax on premiums. It's in the funding commission. And it's going to continue until such time as the unfunded liability that they dealt with over the years of the special fund, or it sunsets. It's going to be over here. I think it's 2029. What you do not want to see happen is that it goes back to, or goes into the general funding. General funding means the government. There'll be cutbacks. And here's what's significant. The funding from this funding commission is what funds not only the Department of Labor, the Labor Cabinet of Workers' Claims, but also the Labor Cabinet. And keep in mind, OSHA, wage and hour, unemployment, all these other things that are a part of the labor movement that you all have got, and we do get a lot of things, good things from. So watch that. That's a funding mechanism that's coming up. And then just one final point to talk with you about. Several years ago, two other attorneys and I formed a group. It's called KY. And it's a group of attorneys and folks that really focus on the injured workers and the disabled, and representing the families in Kentucky that they have work injuries or Social Security disability benefits. We've got about 100 members across the state. So, for example, if I get a call from somebody down in Paducah or Murray, I'm able to basically recommend that you get this attorney in that area, because he also concentrates and does a lot and understands workers' comp and Social Security disability. So I want to tell you that because we've worked over the years as our group with Bill, Dustin, and I always like to say that we've always looked upon the AFL-CIO as being part of our family, our partner, and we hope that you continue to look upon KY as being a part of your family and your partner. Thank you very much, and stand up and fight back. Appreciate it.
Hey Chad, Bill Lonergan here, he bought you a meatloaf. If y'all don't know Chad, he loves meatloaf. No, but in honor of all the workers that you help and you put on seminars and classes and things to help people at different union halls monthly and all that, we really appreciate you, brother. We hope you'll accept this back.